Bear Bryant Show in progress.
Very well executed play. So they go out in front 7-zip after they kick the extra point here.
A 74-yard touchdown pass from Tom Forrest to Spider Gaines.
Yeah, you take the Spiders 2 long ones out of there. They didn't do all that. They had the ball, Charlie, according to your statistics last night, or their statistics. We had the same number of plays, I think, but they had the ball about a minute more than we did. That's another little stupid thing we did there, that being close to the football.
Rick Neal.
Real fine block by Rick. Real fine running here by Tony. If our man I think Brock, he just run a little faster. I thought he might have gone farther, but a real excellent return by Tony Nathan. Into the first quarter, Washington 7, Alabama zip.
Coach, with the game being so far away, I believe it's about 2,600 miles, you changed your travel plans and took them out Thursday evening. Do you think that helped to get...
Charlie will never know. Of course, 2 hour difference in the time, but I'll always feel like that they might have won the game. I mean, we may not have won the game without it. And I wouldn't have done it had Southern Gal hadn't done it coming here. I wouldn't have thought of it. I was just dumb to think about it. But it's an awfully long trip. It takes something out of you in the long run. And, of course, the change of time, you got to get adapted to that. And I don't know how well they slept. I didn't talk to the players about it. But I know they had to be more rested, and they played more like, get into that, more like they're supposed to play, more like Alabama team played. I don't know. I'm kind of piled up on my timing, too. Night before the game, my grandson Mark came by to see me, and my mom said he came over my door and looked in there, and the TV was on, and I was sound asleep at 8:30. So,
you know, I kept waking up, because I went out on Wednesday, I kept waking up at 4:15, which I usually get up at 6:15. My body just would wake me up at 4:15 out there. Let's get on into the second quarter of action.
Second quarter, I don't know who has the win because it changed so many times. I'll tell you, Washington knows something about fundamental of football. We shifted in punt formation here. They jump offside. Like I think Rick Neal might have been putting on a pretty good act there. Anyway, we have a first down. Belly play with Tony. Oh, he kept it. Fooling me, too. Beautiful play here coming up. Line's well split to come off the ball behind Brock and Adelet over there. And Tony Nathan making a block, a half block out here. Enough that Stedman really pitched off the block, man. There's no one there. And Major Ogilvy goes in for the score.
Coach, on the replay, I think Jackson's fake on the line had froze him just a moment, too.
Jackson does a great job of faking in that line. And he's beginning to look people up, too, I'll tell you. The fullback only has a couple of assignments where you have assignments for blocking. And he has to go down and look people up, like Johnny Davis did his senior year. Fine running with Major Ogilvy. Coming back and tackling from the side. E.J. and McNeil, I think both were there. Real great play then. Who made that tackle?
Rich Wingo.
Rich Wingo.
They were clipping on the kickoff, too. They were penalized.
Rick Wingo from Elkhart, Indiana. That was a real fine play then by crashing in E.J. Jr. I don't know how anyone plays as far as the grades are concerned. I know we made some big plays. That's the delayed pattern there, and unfortunately that man was injured late in the game, and they broke his leg, and I really hate it too, because he's a great football player.
He's got an Alabama background, Coach.
I understand that he's from Montgomery, and if he is, and he probably is, because we do the worst job recruiting in America, I'm going to find out why we didn't know something about him. Our pursuit is excellent there. That's the first thing about being a good coach, is being a good recruiter.
I think he'd moved out there quite a while ago.
Oh, is that right?
He was just real young. He lived in Montgomery.
So they have the football. Real great defensive play there with those people. Beautiful Washington. It's a great big campus. I've been there before, of course. Stedman Shealy on the triple option.
Gary De Niro was in on the last stop.
Gary, I think, played well. I may be all wrong. We made a lot of tackles, I know that. They kicked the field goal.
Lansford kicks a
37-yarder. I thought the thing missed it by, it must have gone over by 50th of an inch. I thought it went under, the old wobbly thing, but the official was standing right under it. And when he signaled good, I couldn't believe it. I didn't doubt it because the official right on. Look, they have 10 people on the tackle there. We didn't knock anybody out. And was guarded that he had to pitch it to. And anytime anything doesn't look right out there, you keep the football. And that big gentleman broke through there then, made him keep it. There came right back to the same play. He saw what really happened. He missed a read on that, which anybody will do sometimes. He came right back with the same play and gave it off to Jackson, and Jackson made a nice run.
Yep.
2 ends out this time.
So they got 13 yards on the carry.
And we'll start a new game in the second half, 3 points behind because Washington has 10 and Alabama 7.
Coach has been honorary chairman and given blood just about every year on the blood drive and all. Our university feature this year, this week, is a little bit different. It's the full day in a life of a student, and this particular student happens to be Alabama's Major Ogilvy.
And he is a student.
Meet Morgan Oslin Ogilvy Jr., 19-year-old sophomore at the University of Alabama. The Crimson Tide running back starts his day here, where he's better known as Major.
I get up in the morning, we'll try to eat breakfast, and then go to classes.
Classes are very important to Major.
They have a great business school, which I was there, and I'm majoring in accounting. And so they had a great deal to do with it, and then I just like the overall atmosphere of the university.
Every afternoon, there's football practice. Major likes it that way.
I enjoy doing a lot of things. I enjoy playing football. That's a lot. I feel like football is a great teacher of life.
Major ends most days with steak at the training table, then study in the library. As for his future,
I'll probably just stay around Alabama. I like everything around here.
on Saturdays, the weekdays pay off for number 42. Like every student at the University of Alabama, Major Ogilvy is special. The capstone is proud of its student athletes who represent us well on the field and in the classroom.
I'm glad to see that, Charlie. Of course, Major's a wonderful young man. He's a bright young man, and I think he'll go far in anything, any endeavor he chooses when he gets out. But I'm glad he has a couple more years to study those books.
Coach, for those maybe, if we were late getting into the telecast a little bit because of the pro game, I'd like to mention that Coach Bryant, we kind of tried to save until now for his comments about the game and what he thought about it. So, Coach, if you would.
Well, actually, Charlie, I think we played a fine football team. Don James was an excellent football coach. I've known him a long time, and he had the same team that he won the Big Ten, the Rose Bowl with last year after having won the Southwest, the Pacific Coast Conference, and had 18 starters back. And the record wasn't as good when we played them, and I was talking with him before the game, and he said he didn't know what they'd done wrong, what they should have won. They should have been zipped and forward. But during the game, they played an inspired football game. We only had 4,000 people out there because we could only get 4,000 tickets. Well, we had some others too, but I'll talk about a little later. But it was a Washington crowd, but I thought our treatment was excellent. I thought the fans treated everyone there. It wasn't like a lot of places you go. We went up in Nebraska last year thinking that they were going to cut our throats and this, that, and the other. And they were real nice. The only thing is made a lot more noise than Washington did. And the one thing I noticed about it, the Washington football team is well organized. They have a good plan. They know what they're doing. They don't make many mistakes. The thing I noticed at the game itself, as we were going off the field to about 18 minutes before the game, and you have to walk a mile like you do at Southern Cal to the dressing room. I was worried about that, but I just noticed the stands, and the stands still weren't full. When people waited late to get there, they have a big traffic problem. But when we came back out, of course, they were full. But I want to talk about our team. I think we've had 3 seasons, really. We played Nebraska, and we started off well, and we did. The players did an excellent job. I thought they looked like an Alabama team, sounded like an Alabama team. I thought we were going to have a great team, and then we had that layoff, and we started our second season we had a lot of injuries, and we had a lot of excuses. We had a lot of talking before the game, but players what they're going to do, and a lot of excuses after the game, and we haven't played all that well. As a matter of fact, we just haven't been very tough. We don't. don't look like that Alabama team. We haven't, and sounded like an Alabama team. We haven't had those intangibles that Alabama teams have. And going to Washington, I didn't know what to think, but I thought they did a real fine job. We still made our usual mistakes, foolish things that come from coaching, and I do mean that. And we got our penalties that come from coaching, and I mean that. But they played hard football, and they played a little tougher game. They're a little tougher. I can recall when we had teams around here that we play a game and the team we played didn't win the next week because we took too much out of them. But this group hasn't been that way. They haven't been that way at all. And I can lay it all on the injuries, and we had some played yesterday that hadn't had any work. And you have to, I don't care if you're a home run hitter or what, or a golfer, you have to play some if you practice some if you're going to play. But I'm real proud of it, and the finest bunch of young people I've had, I think they are, and it's a pleasure to be with them. But I think maybe that they got a start yesterday. I think they got a feeling, they sounded like Alabama team, acted like one, and yeah, there's an air of confidence around. We've had an air of synthetic confidence as far as I was concerned. Like, we're going to do this, but I think I could feel on the bench and around that they were going to win the football game, that they thought they were going to win the football game. And you have to have confidence to play football. And I thought we played a fine game, not nearly as well as we can play. And now our third season is coming up now. We're going into the conference season. We've had one conference game, of course, as you know, but we're going into the conference season now. And we can get our injured people back. I don't mean the ones like David Hanna was injured this spring, but and get some work, not a lot of work, but get out and do things right and do them in a hurry and get off the field and get rested and go in the game with a little meanness in them, with a little ornery like, and want to hurt somebody or hit somebody. I don't mean really hurt them, but hit them where it hurts. I think we have a fine football team yet. I certainly haven't given up by a long shot because we have 4, 5, 6 excellent football players, and this next couple of weeks, well, this week's going to tell a great big story of how we able to prepare and how we play on Saturday. I've mumbled enough, Charlie. Go ahead and do something.
Coach, we'll be back for the third quarter following this important message from one of our sponsors.
Now here comes, he sees he's going to get it blocked. He got a good snap. And E.J. Jr. makes a tackle. A man that actually caused it, they were both coming, with Don McNeil. Don McNeil rushed from this side. He'd almost blocked a couple. So that's a real big break. But not a big break. You make your breaks. And the lead blocker was Jackson, and it was Major Ogilvy running with the ball. Here comes the dive. Oh, our fullback got nothing done on that, because on that play, the linebacker beat him to the spot. Tony just dived over. We didn't move anybody, as you can see. Years ago, Tennessee had a fullback to do that diving better than anybody. That's a mighty big one, though, but here comes another mighty big one here where we miss an extra point. We've missed more extra points in the last 2 years than any team I know. End of the quarter, Alabama 13, Washington 10.
Coach, we've got some studio guests today that we'd like to acknowledge. We've got the big brothers and the little brothers are over here with us, and it sure is a pleasure to have you all with us. Of course, we've got Zeke, who's always with us every Sunday.
With us. The little brothers, great-looking bunch of youngsters, too,
Sure are,
you know, at the game, Charlie, saw Russ Shamoon. In fact, he and Alan Pizzatola had breakfast with me yesterday morning. Russ scored on a touchdown against Notre Dame in the Orange Bowl, you may recall, right. And he's transportation in San Francisco now. And I guess a lot of people from Alabama out there. Dr. Matthew Mary, his lovely wife, accompanied the team for one of the few times, and we won. I wish they'd go more often. And as I said last week, the McLeans were out, and Margaret and Ms. McLean had never seen us lose. I didn't even see them, didn't get a chance to call them, really, but any of those good luck charms,
I saw you
I
trying
like
to
have around.
get on one of those good golf courses in Birmingham, too, next spring.
Well,
Mr.
I'll tell you about Mr. Thompson. He's a Vanderbilt man, and he's for Vanderbilt, but he's for the state of Alabama and everything in it. He's a fine gentleman, and he's a civic-minded gentleman. And
Coach Frank is frankly waving, so let's get on into the fourth quarter of action here.
And I may get in that golf club someday, Charlie. They may vote me out, though. That's another thing. Here comes the draw play with Tony Nathan running the football. Jim Bunch was going for the linebacker. If he'd been just a little quicker, he had to put on an act at the line of scrimmage, but Tony might have gone for a touchdown on that, the way he can run. I tell you, Woody Humphrey really taking his time on that one. Fortunately, they have the return on. That's Barry Smith down there first. Barry gets down there. If they don't have someone on him, he can run well. He gets down there. He wasn't going upstream. He couldn't get anything on it. Real great defensive play then. Jerry De Niro and someone else, Charlie.
Murray Legg was blitzing, Coach.
And they missed the field goal here. And actually, I think it was a lot closer, maybe closer than the one they made. Jeff Rutledge is in now. Options out. Major Ogilvy, a real fine runner. You saw him in the classroom a while ago.
Good block by Tony.
Yeah, Tony Nathan made an excellent block. He blocked too high, but under the circumstances, he did the right thing. He just kept after him, didn't have to.
Got 22 yards on the play.
Jeff keeps it on the inside here and picks up a few yards. Major's talking about Major Ogilvy. He's a fine blocker, too. He and Tony didn't block well last week. He had a sore shoulder, I guess. But they are excellent blocking. That great running there. That play was supposed to be inside. They jammed in, and Tony, what all good back could do, kept his shoulders parallel the line of scrimmage, jumped outside, is on his way. Here comes another good one. Jeff Rutledge back to pass. Now here's something Jeff does well. See that the man rushed him? He's off balance, but Jeff just steps around him. And Rick Neal is all alone in the end zone, or near the end zone, catches the ball nonchalantly, like in practice, carrying it like in practice, gets it knocked out of his arm. And he's already over, but if he hadn't been over, it'd been the same thing. So we do a lousy job of coaching, toting the football. Rutledge back to pass. That big guy there that just ran right on by, man, too.
He's all-Pac 8 2 years in a row.
Is that right?
Defensive tackle, yes, sir.
They got some football players, I'll tell you. Rick Neal's a senior. Rick's a fine football player. We trying to kick over in the corner this time, but Timmy doesn't get it over in the corner. The wind blew it back out in the middle.
Barry Krause comes down, Coach.
Bear makes a great play here. Now, just one play like this can win a football game. Hits him on the 13-yard line. Bear has real fine speed. That's why I tell our kicking team all the time, you win on any one play. You make your letter on one play. You earn it by making a big play that wins a football game. You never know when it's going to be won. You can't tell that might have won it. Back to pass.
Going for the speedster.
Oh, my goodness, and we bounce this one around. Great effort there, great effort.
Bobby Smith and Murray and Ricky Tucker all back there.
They're all three there and fighting one another for the ball, but they didn't let him get it.
4th and 1.
4th and 1, and they're going for it. And we don't want to do anything, make them have to do anything tough. We jump off sides. The quarterback might have had to watch this down. The next play after that.
After 4th and 1.
After 4th and 1. This is what the great teams don't do. And he is wide open. He had plenty of time to throw the football. He's an excellent passer. And that gentleman catching is a great receiver. So we have the 3-point lead now. And I was so glad they didn't go for 2.
Big play on first down.
Big play, and it's a real big one, too. Jeff Rutledge on the option play, goes out to Ogilvy. Tony gets a halfway block. If Keith had gone on blocking, man, he was timing. It was real great running. Look at Ogilvy, put that other hand on that football, too, to keep from fumbling.
It's 25 yards.
Sound football player. Brought it out there, and we ought to be in great shape here.
This is not a replay. It's the Next play.
Next play, and another thing you noticed that you didn't see, or you probably saw it but didn't know it, but Jeff Rutledge did a great job then getting rid of the football. They had a hard on it, trying to force a fumble, and he expected it, but he always expected it. With about 15, 20 seconds to go, as I recall it. Coming in motion, well, maybe longer than that.
It's longer than that. Maybe 3 minutes is on there.
I was just a freshman. They're coming in motion again.
We get another pass interference call on this one, Coach.
Well, he runs out of there on this one. The ball wasn't thrown. I don't know how we could... we got one against Texas one time, though, when the ball wasn't thrown.
It's this play. Call it on the other receiver.
Yeah, he called it on over on the other side, and he came over telling me who it was. And it wasn't who it was at all. Final score, Alabama 20, Washington 17.
Coach, final score, Coach, was Alabama 20 and Washington 17, and it was a long flight back last night, but we got back in here to Birmingham and caught the players all took the buses back on to Tuscaloosa. It was quite late when most of us got back home last night.
Well, the singing in the dressing room, I was going to say, was beautiful yesterday. The first time it sounded good to me in a long time, and I didn't think it was a very long trip back. If you take one back, if that score would have been the other way around.
That's right. It'd been twice as long. It sure would.
And we have some of them on here, Charlie. I don't really remember.
All right, well, let's look at our featured players, Coach, and get you to comment.
They're not necessarily featured. They're just some we have on, and they might have played well or not. There's Coach Shorty White was in charge of the Washington game. I thought he did an excellent job in getting us prepared, along with the other coaches. Marty Lyons was injured in the game. Marty is a great football player. He was one of our captains. Lou Eichner was one of our captains, too. He didn't start, but you don't have to be a starter to be a leader. He's a fine football player. Bear Krause was another one of our captains. He's from Pompano Beach, Florida, and he's great speed on the kickoff that he made. Of course, he made some other big plays. Keith Pugh from Evergreen, I know he made one big play. He's Alan Crumlin made a big play on the kickoff. I believe we missed that during the... Alan had been hurt a lot this year. Randy Scott, he made a big play on the kickoff. He may have made some others, I don't know. I know I saw him make one big one run. Woody Humphries did an excellent job of punting the football. We held him out one year. And Gary De Niro, he's from Youngstown, Ohio, and his brother, Beeb Stallings, told me he was the best football player he'd ever seen. He played for him at A&M, was killed in an automobile accident. Curtis McGriff from Cottonwood, I think he made a couple big plays. Curtis is big, fast, and Brian Bragg, if they play like they're capable of playing and put that shoulder and get mean, there'd be some kind of, they'd talk about him like he did the Selmans. Murray Legg, not that they're related, from here in Birmingham. Murray's a senior, and he kind of runs our defense back there. And Rick Wingo from Elkhart. Rick's well now, and I know he had some big plays in the football game. We have, I think our linebacking is excellent. Ricky Gillen from here in Birmingham. As a matter of fact, we played Boyd, and Rick Neal, he scored a touchdown. Rick's also a senior from here in Birmingham. He scored a touchdown, I should say. Jeff Rutledge, he's also a senior from here in Birmingham, and he threw the pass for the touchdown. In fact, I think Jeff played very well, as did Stedman Shealy from Dothan. You know, Stedman had been injured. We all know about that. Billy Jackson from Phoenix City. Billy's going to be quite a football player. He's already getting pretty good. Steve Whitman from here in Birmingham, and I can say the same thing from Steve. He dropped that ball every once in a while. I can't know. And Major Ogilvy, he's only a sophomore from Birmingham, and he's already a good football player. He's a complete player. And Tony Nathan from here in Birmingham also. Tony scored a touchdown, but he had good blocks and good runs. He had one bad play. He knows it better than I do. And that Timmy Clark, Timmy's a kickoff man, and he's a good one. He's going to be a good something else, too, so long. Barry Smith from Anderson does a snapping back. And that's very important. You perfect snap. Coach Ken Donahue, a defensive coordinator. Ken works all the time. I worked on the plane last night. Sylvester Kroon, works with the defense, so he specializes in defensive ends. And Jeff Rousey, Sylvester played, and so did Jeff. Jeff works with the linebackers, and Bill Oliver, and he's also a former player, works with the secondary. And I know I imagine they're a lot happier today, although I think the defense played a lot better than they've been playing, and although they did score some points on us, but we got they got the two easy plays. I'm not wrong. I believe, I may be wrong on this, but I believe that we've had more long touchdowns passes against our team this year than we've had in 10 years put together. I may be just wrong.
That many.
I mean 10 years put together.
Total,
Well, I'm the total. And we got first thing, you got to rush the passer. And then they just have one football.
Coach, we're just about out of time. We'll be back next week after the Florida game.
This is Charlie Thornton inviting you to join us again next week for the Bear Bryant Show, brought to you by Golden Flake, the only chips with Southern Fried Crunch. Coca-Cola. Coke adds life to football and fun. And the Southern Bank Corporation and its affiliates throughout Alabama, who urge you to continue your fullest support of the University of Alabama.